Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Divine Eye Racing Series, where tonight it will be an actual night as we're at Qatar at the Losail circuit. My name is Olaf, aka Wops Racing, and I am joined today by my beautiful, beautiful co-com, Ali. Ali, how are you doing?
Good evening, dude. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Looking forward to a beautiful race once again, as we're
Oh,
at
yes.
Qatar for the first time. I haven't seen these drivers around Qatar. I've seen no one do any laps. I've seen some people kind of leak their qualifying time a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit. But other than that, I have seen nothing of these guys. So I'm going to be completely surprised today. And that goes for both of us, I assume, because you also have not seen a lot of the drivers on this track yet, as it's the first time on here in the Divine Eye Racing Series, as a Haas is the first driver to go out, and that Haas, of course, has to be Scottish, because the interesting thing with Scottish, right, if we take a look at the standings, Scottish is currently in 7th place, only 9 points behind Rios in 6th, which is obviously going to be a close battle. But for the Constructors' Championship, it's even more important for Scottish to get a good time on the board over here in the qualifying, because, Ali, if you can look at the Constructors' standings, you have Haas in 2nd place, just overtook Mercedes last weekend out in Austria, and they're now 7 points ahead of Mercedes.
Yeah, it's very close in the constructors. Obviously, we have got a bit of a battle there for second and possibly third as well. But I think at the moment that the focus is certainly on the drivers, because I mean we were talking about this earlier, Waps, as well in the pre-race chat, and certainly Yuri is putting the hammer down, shall we say, and taking the fight to Tronzik. So yeah, I think the drivers is really heating up.
Yeah, because Tronzik last time around, he actually, I don't believe he did a very good job. He qualified, and as in he finished, and that was a valid position, and it was 13th, which granted him little to nothing to extend his lead, while the driver behind, Yuri, got his 2nd victory of the season, closing the gap by about 30 points from what I can see, and the current gap is 35 points. That is not enough to close in one weekend, but if Tronzik has one of those moves again like he had last week around, it's going to be very, very difficult to keep that lead going strong, as Yuri is indeed closing in that gap quite well. And then we have in 3rd place, only 24 points behind Yuri, we have Touchkey. So if anything happens to Yuri, and Touchkey's got an amazing performance like he usually does, he is going to be taking over that 2nd place as well. So Touchkey isn't out either. Anything happens to the top 2, Touchkey can be running away with it anytime soon, as Scottish goes wide over the curb, spins out, hits the rear of the car towards the barriers, and has to limp to the pits. He probably got damaged, so that is not going to be a 2nd run for him for now, as he limps back into the pits. And we're going to look at the first driver to set a lap. Would be... Let's see, that is Tintenfish with a 121.8 on the mediums. That is interesting. Tintenfish and Scottish both out on the mediums. That might be the issue for Scottish. That was probably the reason why he lost the rear there and went spinning into the barrier, as the medium time is obviously overrun immediately by Jan, who put in a 121.4. But still pretty good lap from Tintenfish if you see where he is. He's ahead of Jack, who's in 4th place, 3/10 behind him. As Touchy, like we talked about before, just went a tiny, tiny bit faster and races the bars. Tronzik does that once again, just over half a tenth quicker. In first at 21.3.
That's 3 good banker laps there by Tronzik, Touchkey and Jan. Very good banker laps. We were saying again in the pre-race, I know this track inside out. It's my favourite track. absolutely know it inside out. And personally, for myself, I know the 20s are easily there, so expect to see these guys easily dip into the 20s for their
And
for their
there you
final
have
run.
it.
And there you go.
Yuri, a 120.6, just like you predicted. That is an amazing lap, I have to say. That's 7/10 over Tronzik. I honestly am not sure where Tronzik is leaving that, but that's
a absolute ridiculous lap. I mean, my quality time, I think, round here was a 20.5. So that is astronomically fast for a banker from Yuri. And Yuri is setting the banker down for Tronzik, saying, you know, I'm here, mate. Don't disregard me yet. And the two championship leaders, as it stands, sit in P1 and P2.
It's going to be an amazing battle if this is already the entertainment we're being offered in the qualifying session. And Tintenfish, of course, on that medium tire, pulling pretty good times, actually, in 7th place currently. Quite a long way to go to Yuri's time, but he's only half a second off of what Tronzik has done on the softs on his banker lap, which is quite interesting if you look at it, because the medium compound, surely there's half a second to gain. I mean, look at all those fast speed corners, especially in the 3rd sector that we're seeing where Yuri's going through right now. The triple right-hander, that should be a spot for the softs to get an immense performance boost compared to the medium runners. Like, that has to be, at least during the race, also something to be looked at, but especially here in qualifying.
The medium tires are good, Waps. The medium tires are good round here. So, you know, they can put up a good lap time, which we've seen they obviously can do. It's the soft tires. The soft tires pretty much will be used just to gain those few positions in qualifying. I mean, I do expect some to run it maybe in the race if they're daring, but the harder compounds of tires works so well around here.
So the medium runners currently of Tintenfish and Scottish, might they have been looking at saving a soft compound for the race, going for that daring strategy, maybe even going soft mediums, perchance?
No, I wouldn't two-stop. If they're going to be using softs, they're going to be using softs on the back of a set of hards. So there's only a couple of strategies you can use and run, shall we say. So it might be they're saving a set of softs for the race, which for me would give me a clue they're probably going to be running a soft hard or hard soft strategy.
Now that is going to be an interesting one. If you're running hard softs, it's going to be dead towards the end of the race. I don't imagine that soft tire lasting very long if they're using it for the qualifying. As Wazaz put in a 23.6 currently at the back of the grid, splitting the grid by 3 full seconds, which is quite a big gap, especially as 6 drivers have not set a lap time yet, one of which is Scottish, has invalidated, and now going over the line to start a valid lap. I have completely forgotten to turn on the telemetry data on the top right, the lap data, so we can see which sector they are in and what lap times they are doing compared to their previous laps, which is obviously only going to be important for a second run, as Cutthroat is retiring from the session in the Alpine. We saw him last week do work. And
I think that's a crash.
Yeah, that's the Alpine not setting a lap time.
Yeah, I think he's crashed out.
That is very, very unfortunate for him. So he'll be starting last on the grid if the rest of the back runners are setting a lap, and it looks like almost everyone is out right now. Shermanator still in, but Scottish, the one to look for positions in the Drivers' Championship, trailing Mrios by only 9 points, and then looking to get a jump on Remix and Paddy, who is not driving today, who got replaced currently by El Chacal on the second Mercedes, or first Mercedes.
Paddy's P4, isn't he? I believe in the drivers.
Yes, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, there you go. Tronzic's just starting the lap waps.
Oh, that's going to be an interesting one. He's going to finish Scottish lap first as he's approaching the timing line and wondering where he can put it. It's all the way up to P5, joining his teammate in the top 5 with a 121.6, an entire second behind. So that is an amazing lap done by Yuri. And Tronzik is now the one to match it, the man to beat the 20.6 as he goes around. A very nice 360, but not very beneficial for your lap time. And that is going to be a soft tire in the bin, as he's already done 1 lap on it. He's got to go full recharge mode and try to gather as much energy as he can.
That's not going to help for a second lap if he's got enough fuel for a second lap, because this is something we haven't touched on. This is something we have not touched on at all, Waps. Qatar in a race is fuel thirsty like crazy. These guys need to be putting in about, I'm trying to remember what I had to put in. I'm sure they need to be putting in at least 2 laps extra of fuel. Otherwise, they will run out, because it is so fuel thirsty around here. It's unbelievable. And if these guys don't know it, and if this is the first time we've obviously raced around here, which I think it is, if they haven't raced around here in this game in the previous season, if you don't fuel your car enough, you are going to run out. There's no point thinking you can put in half a lap of fuel or 1 lap of fuel extra or try under fueling. You need at least 2 laps of fuel in that car extra. Otherwise, come the end of the race, you are going to be running out of fuel.
I mean, in that case, we're going to have to look at some fuel-saving tactics for some of these drivers, possibly throughout the middle of the race, or they'll just have to be running fatter cars, I should say, not faster, but more fueled up, heavier cars to run around the track, as we have seen some switches on the front, as Tronzik could not put in a lap after spinning around in Sector 1. He's gone back into the pits, and Jack has now gone over, and just under half a tenth of an increase on Tronzik's time currently puts it in 2nd place and on the front row. Jan currently in 5th on an out lap. Scottish in as well, and the 2 Astons are out for a lap as well.
And Jack doing a little cheeky overtake in the pit lane as well. Another thing as well, Waps, is the actual qualifying lap. If you do your qualifying lap on hot lap and you run it all the way throughout your lap, you're going to run out of ERS. So these guys need to actually switch their ERS off in a couple of positions throughout the actual lap itself. Switch the ERS off. Turn 5, I believe it is, the 2 right-handers as you're coming up the hill. Switch your ERS off there. Switch it back on again as you're coming down to the hairpin left. And then the 3 fast right-handers, sorry, just switch it off there as you're going around there as well, because you're not using ERS around there. And that's going to then enable you to complete the lap with full ERS. So if these guys are using full ERS throughout the whole lap, they will deplete on the back straight, on the home straight. So it may be worth having a look to see if these guys are actually running out of ERS or they are saving it.
As Divine Eye might have actually done the proper strategy, and maybe the one that Yuri has also used to get that 20.6. Very nicely done. Divine Eye drops it from P15 all the way to P9, and matching the lap time that Scottish has set before. Servilier was on a lap, I should say, and has gone all the way to the side. He's now maybe lining up for a new one. He's going very slowly, so I don't assume he's going into the pits. He is pulling into the pits, so that is a run ruined for the Red Bull driver. Only a few cars currently on the
Yuri as well, Waps. Just looking at Yuri, he's still sitting in the pits. He knows nobody's going to touch it. I can tell you now, nobody's going to beat Yuri's time. Nobody will beat Yuri's time. He can just sit there, have 2 fresh sets of softs for the race. Nobody's going to beat that. That's an astonishing time. Honestly, that is absolutely rapid.
And he has done it in a single lap. No banker needed. He went out, set the lap, gone back in. And that is the lap that he set. And even with the track evolution, even with the track rubbered in a bit, Servilier just puts in a 21.2. That's almost 6/10 slower than what Yuri did on his banker lap, while everyone else was also doing bankers.
They won't touch him. That lap is incredible. That's like absolutely full pelt. you know, third run, send it lap. That is, and he's done it as a banker. So, if Yuri can, depending on what strategy he's going to run for the race, because for me personally, there is only one strategy to run for this race. If he can keep that momentum going, he's going to be unbelievably fast.
And Dutchke also on an outlap right now. Scottish on his way to improves by almost 6/10, and that is the track evolution that we're talking about. A 21.0 puts him on the front row for now. Jack is on an outlap. Dutchke on an outlap as well. Probably going to see Villiers and Tronzik out for another run as well. After Villiers actually put it into P2 before, after he abandoned his outlap, his cooldown lap to come back to the pits.
Look at the Haas guys, P1 and P2 for Haas. That's going to be so good for their constructors to catch up with Williams, with Tinton Fish down in P13, and Tronzik maybe not absolutely on fire at the moment in P5.
He is out on a lap, so that will be changing for most likely, hopefully for him, from P5, maybe even to a front row position. But these Haas guys, like you said, they've locked it up for now. The front row absolutely in their grasp, and indeed for the championship, they're currently 42 points behind Williams. It's a 1-2 finish away from taking the lead.
Waps, if it stays like this, gosh, this could be an absolute barrier for the rest of them and let Yuri take off. Is that their plan? If it stays like this, Scottish needs to play barrier mode, blocker mode, and Aston Martin out in the wall.
That is Mookie.
Aston Martin out.
That is Mookie out of the session. And the yellow in sector 3 in the final corner, luckily already cleared before any cars could get close. As we see El Chakal on a lap currently, has been improving for a little bit. There's a car in front of him, a car that's going to start his lap. Should give a little bit of a slipstream there, maybe unwanted, but the Mercedes driver will take everything he can. He's currently in P15, wants to set a good lap in for the start. Does improve by 3/10, but does not improve his position. Still down to P15. And that is indeed Mookie in P10 out of the qualifying session. Rios already retired as well, and Shermanator too. So the two Alpine drivers are doing a cosplay of the IRL Alpines, and they are doing P19 and P20 start for this race. As Kaká is currently on an outlap in the Mercedes and in the McLaren. Both start with an M. I get confused sometimes. He's on an outlap. Currently P14, that's not where we expect him to see Yuri on an outlap. He did go out once again, and he will try and beat that 20.6. The gap is already insanely high. There's no shot anyone gets that, as Dutchke puts in a 21.1. Not even close. It's over half a second away from the pole position time. But guess what? He is still on P3. Jack in P5 already retiring, thinking this is the best he could do. And the checkered flag is down.
Back out. Yuri's back out just to... I'm wondering, Yuri's back out just to hammer in another lap for fun, I think.
He's toying with them.
He is. He is. That time from Yuri is immense. It's absolutely immense.
He's already almost 2/10 quicker in just the first sector. I'm looking at this lap right now. It looks like that car is not moving anywhere that Yuri does not want it to go. Absolutely to the limits over all of those curbs here. Going to the second timing line. We're going to see the time difference. It's just under a tenth. So that is a small decrease in performance in sector 2. But here we have the final one. The part where it's just foot to the floor. Absolutely jamming it as he goes just right up to the edge of the track limits. Almost invalidated his lap. He's now going around the final corner. And where does Yuri do? What does he do? Can he get any faster than he already is as he crosses the line? And where does he go? Improves by just under a tenth. He has improved, and Servilier is not on a valid lap. He is out, and Dutchke is also not on a valid lap. He's also out, and Jan is going over the line, but that is going to be a 21.2. Puts it to P6. That is a very, very good lap time, but that's all anyone can do. And this is your pole sitter. This is amazing.
It's unreal, and I've just actually looked at my quali time. Do you know what Yuri's quality time and mine was? So he's done a 25.88,
Yes.
I did a 25.62. So
Oh,
he's gone quicker than me. The little
that is
bit. So that's
insane.
unbelievable. I mean, that is rapid, and this is my favourite track. So this is the track that I can absolutely nail. And we need to talk about strategies, Waps. We need to talk about strategies.
Not just for Yuri and Scottish, like you said before, maybe playing blockade, but look at Tronzik. P9. A P9 start for Tronzik, our championship leader.
I know.
He's got nothing.
I know.
He has everything to lose. He cannot lose, and he's 9th place start. That is
This is what I mean.
going to be wild.
And what ties is he going to go on? If he's going to go on, if he's going to start on a set of mediums and try and put his way through the field, it's not going to work. We talked about this before as well before we actually went live. The strategies of tires. Hard medium is the way to go around here without a shadow of a doubt. So I would expect to see, when we're lined up on the grid and you show the graphics of the grid, I expect to see so many hard runners. If they don't, they're crazy, because the hards fire up so fast and they're as fast as the mediums. And then when it comes to the switch over and the hards going on to the mediums going on to the hards, come the end of the race, the mediums are so much faster than the hards. So you need to be starting on the hard set of tyres, because you can really, really get them fired up around this track. They are so good. The hard tyres are amazing.
And if they are as amazing as you make them out to be, then Tronzik will most likely start on that compound. Even though in P9 it might feel tempting to go out on a softer compound, because as Tronzik maybe know as
That's
well,
what I'm saying.
he knows the front runners are all going to be on the hards, because it's just the better strategy.
He'll waste the tyres though. He'll waste the tyres because he won't be able to overtake, because the hards are just as good as the mediums. It's only come the end of the race when people go on to the set of hards that are starting on mediums, and the people that started on the hards go on to mediums. It's the mediums then that come alive at the end of the race. You want to be on the medium tyre at the end of the race, without a shadow of a doubt. Believe me, I've studied it. I've raced it so much. It's my favourite track. This is my track, and this is why I'm passionate about it. You need to be doing a hard medium strategy without a shadow of a doubt.
And we're going to see who gets it right and who gets it completely wrong in just a moment, as the drivers are currently preparing their strategy, maybe getting a little bit of insight on what the rest will do via comms, which are very limited, as we know, in this game.
I was going to say, they might be even watching the stream and listening to what we're saying.
Yeah, might be getting some inspiration from us at the moment while you're blabbing about all the different strategies, with one of them being the one that they should go for. I'm going to see how many drivers.
Soft, medium.
Yeah, soft mediums are the way to go. That's the only way you'll finish this race. Just maybe double softs onto hards. That might be the way. But to be fair, the pit lane is not that long. Like, you're not losing that much time on the pit from what it looks like. But on the other hand, it's a long straight, but like it's a bit it's not like it's Spa or anything where you're gonna lose a bunch of time, especially on the exit out of the pits. So you're reaching the top speed a lot slower.
The hards are so good round here. They really are. Like, anyone in the top 10. Well, oh no, I say the top 10. Anyone in the field should be starting hards. They should be starting hards without a shadow of a doubt. The hards are so easy to fire up. They're such a good race tyre. If you could run hard throughout this race, you would run hard. You wouldn't even bother touching any other tyre, because the hards are so good.
Now, this track is going to be a banger of a race as the lights are going on. Yuri on the front row, Scottish lining up second place, and they're ahead. They are going currently. Yuri gets a pretty good start, I'd say. Scottish lines up right aside him, and it's not a good start for Yuri currently. Scottish looking for the inside, does not get it. Looks to be backing down a tiny bit. Tinterfisher third. Jan looking on the inside, gets Tutschke and goes up to fourth place. A little bit of shuffling further behind as well. The Remix and Villiers are battling down in P6. Jack taking P7. And there's a yellow flag already for Tronzik. It's Tronzik in last place. He has crashed. He's gone around. And he's trying to get back onto the track. But this is horrendous. He is off. He is already so far behind the rest. That's 10 seconds behind Jaspar's currently in P19, and the lead is still the exact same. Yuri and Scottish 1-2, and Jan taking over third place, going around the outside, trying to have a look at what Tintofish is doing, and he is around. It's Jan currently in third place, and the Williams dropping back, and there's another yellow flag.
Another yellow.
The Aston of Mookie seems to be around as well, who needs to recover to the track. And the top two are still staying the same, and we're gonna most likely not gonna see Scottish to be playing the blockade here, as we see both of these drivers on the hard compound. Actually, we do not. Scottish is going on the mediums, Jan on the mediums as well. It's a very big split, Ali. There's a soft runner. It's Kaka on the softs in P9.
Yeah, that's a bold call, expecting him to go on to a set of hards at the end of the race. But look how many hard runners there are. I called it. There's so many hard runners, and that is the way to go. Hard medium is the way to go around here. Yuri's playing it right. Scottish will probably, if the two Hash drivers play this correct, Scottish will just sit behind Yuri and let Yuri do what he needs to do on his set of hards and play blockade to the rest of the field.
And blockade he shall play. We've seen almost a dive in turn one from Scottish, thinking I have the softer compound, I should be able to pass him. But like you said, this hard tire is just insane. And combine that with the pace that Yuri has, he's just going to be pulling away further and further. Jan also on that medium.
Give it a lap. Give it a lap on those set of hards from Yuri, and he'll be on fire. The hards, I've said it before, the hards are so good. The hards are so good.
Jan is also on that medium tire, and he's still pulling along pretty well. Tintofish dropped actually down to 4th. Tushki still in 5th. We got Remix in 6th now. And let's see from the starting positions. Yeah, Remix gained 4 places there. Jan got 3 places as well. Shermanator up 8 places, starting last. Currently in 12th place. And Cutthroat also starting 19th up to 14th now. And the biggest loss from the start here is Tronzik all the way down in 19th place. Currently 3 seconds behind Mookie, who also spun around. Jan currently with the fastest lap as DRS is enabled. Scottish looking to get that overtake done maybe soon, as we might not see team orders from these two. We've seen them battle before time and time again, and Scottish is not one to take the second driver role that easily. It might be very easy to confuse that because Yuri is just that fast, but Scottish is not one to back down from a fight.
No, definitely not. What we do need to look on is P4, P5 and P6 and how they can stick with the medium runners ahead of them. And that will solidify just how good the hards actually are around here. So if Tintonfish, Touchkey and Khan can stick with Jan and Scottish, that will show that these hards do work. And currently, they're not being dropped. And as you said, WAPS DRS is enabled.
And talking about the difference between the hards and the mediums, we see Jack on a set of mediums, Remix on a set of hards, and Remix is out of the DRS. Jack is within the DRS. Remix got nothing to defend. That Mercedes is going to get passed like a brick flying through the air. He's going to be passing him on this straight, most likely. He's within 4/10. In the front, it's not anywhere that's very close with this much of a pace advantage. Maybe Tintofish up in 4th place, but here we go. Jack is passed on that medium tire. Tintofish does actually do it, gets ahead of Jan and takes back that 3rd position. Jan looking for a fight back, but doesn't get it in the end. And now Villiers is also passing Remix, or on his way about to, gets pushed a little bit wide, but still on the track, has the inside for the next corner, and takes P7. Remix dropping back 2 positions in a row. Spongy behind, looking for something as well to take away from this. And Kaka doing a masterful defense there, keeping P9, and Spongy into P10. And Remix looking to take that position back, has his nose in wheel to wheel, and does look to gain a little bit of traction, but Villiers around the outside, just a bit more speed, a bit more exit out of that corner, and does keep that P7, does keep the position. And Jack is now almost inching back into the DRS of Touchkey, so that medium tire is running quite well still on this moment, on this lap, as Jack is actually, he isn't back in the DRS now, and he's dropping Villiers a little bit. So it looks like that medium is still doing work. But look at Scottish and Yuri. Tintofish is now 3rd. He overtook Jan, but he's now dropped back quite a bit. So Yuri on that hard compound is just on another level. and Scottish has that medium to pull away and to pull with Yuri a little bit more. But
Yeah.
Tintafish already 1.5 seconds behind. He's got nothing to defend from Jan, but his hard tire.
Yeah, I mean, Yuri's using his hard tyre as he should do. Tintafish is struggling on this hard at the moment. He needs to get fired up and into gear. Jan is there behind him as well on a set of mediums. Tushki on the set of hards. Jack on the set of mediums. Sevilia's on the set of hards. So a real mixed strategy going on at the moment. Kaka is on the set of softs and should be making inroads, but to be honest, isn't really making inroads. So personally, for me, still the hard runners are in a better position for me as it stands currently.
Yeah, Kakame has made up a position. He's overtaken Remix, but look at the gap ahead of him. It's over a second. Fouillet's just pulled away, so that hard tire compared to the soft, like you said, that hard tire is just a little bit stronger. It might have been that Kaká just had the things. Yuri's out.
He's out of DRS, Scott. He's out of DRS wraps from Scottish. He's gone.
It's so wild to see the difference that a hard tire can make around here. It's like the hard tire is acting like the soft currently. The soft tire is acting like the medium, and the medium is actually the hard if you look at the pace-wise. Because Yuri is gone 1.5 seconds, and then it's another 1.5 seconds to Tintafish. And look at the gap on your screen. Look at the size of that. It is amazing how far they've pulled away. And then you've got P3, P4, and P5. They're all battling here. Jan looking to go defensive. Tushki on the inside, 3 wide into turn 1. Jan backs out. Tushki gets that position up to P3, but Tintafish fighting back. Is going to have the inside on this turn. The left-hander right here, and gains the position back. Tushki going a little bit off the track there. Looking to set up for a good retake, and does take P3 currently off the hands. And Jan looking to make something out of that as well. Tintafish dropping back to 5th place as the AlphaTauri stays in 4th place, and Tushki just swapping as Tintafish breaks very late and hits the rear of that AlphaTauri of Jan, and Tushki up to 3rd place, which he's going to be very, very, very happy about.
Yeah, I think Tushki actually got a bit of a nudge there from the Williams from Tintafish as well, so pushed him off track a little bit. There's a bit of lag going on here. I don't know if you're getting this or if it's just me, because I do have internet issues, by the way, as well. So if I do drop out, I shall rejoin. But yeah, there's certainly a bad. I mean, look at the top 5. You know,
Tintafish has just dropped back 2 positions. It looked like he dropped back. He's going to the pits now. Is that damage that he's got from that tap there? He's hit the rear of the AlphaTauri of Jan, and now he's gone in.
I'll keep an eye out. Waps, he's in the pits. I'll keep an eye out.
It's currently Jack's going to go defensive, which he doesn't do. Villiers gets passed into turn 1. Doesn't even need to do any big moves. He goes on the inside, goes past, and takes P5 off of Jack in the AlphaTauri. And Kaká now up to P7 after that, and he is still with the battle.
There is a wing chain for Titanfish, so he has picked up damage on that front wing, has changed his wing and gone on to a set of mediums.
But he can't finish the race on that mediums. He has to pit again after this, as Jack is braking very late, doing the exact same thing that Tintafish did before, and he's hit the back of the Red Bull Villiers, and might be looking to face the same consequences as Tintafish and having to go in, change that tire from that medium to maybe a hard and try to sit it out, but I don't think he can. That's 22 laps, but hopefully he's a bit more lucky.
Yeah, Tintafish will push these mediums now, probably to go on to a set of softs at the end of the race. I should imagine that's probably what's going through his mind. Oh, and he gets massively sideways as well. Tintafish massively sideways on those set of mediums, trying to get them heated up. Can't quite get temperature in them yet, and
Jack going as well. Jack, the first one of the medium runners in the pits, and Ali, I don't want to interrupt as much as you're going on, but if you look at the top 3, Scottish is dropping back. Tushki is within the DRS. He's almost closed up to half a second, and 2nd place is within sights.
The hards are going to work. The hards will come into play. The hards are so good, and you need to drive the hards as much as you can do throughout this stint, and almost kind of do a hard soft strategy, but on a set of hard mediums. just use those hards as much as you can do, because they just don't drop off. You'll go through a horrible graining phase, and they feel horrible, and you think, I need to pit, but don't pit. Drive through it. The hards will come back to you, and you can finish the last, maybe, I would say, 13 laps on the set of mediums.
That does sound
12,
like the
13 laps on the set of mediums.
does sound like the more favorable position, most favorable strategy if we're looking at the grid as well. Like lots of the hard runners are still going, and the first driver of the mediums already going in shall probably get the rest going as well. Jack currently in P18, so he's dropped back quite far, and Touchkey now trailing Scottish, who is on that medium compound. He's just getting closer and closer. He's already gained almost 3/10 on this last lap. But look at Jan. Jan is on the mediums, and he is catching Touchkey as well. Touchkey is on the inside, looking to go a little bit defensive. Went very, very far. Doesn't need to, ultimately. But look at that. They're both within 4/10 of the car ahead. Within 5/10 of the car ahead. And
yeah,
it's looking to be a good battle here for P3 at least. And P2 even.
It is. The trouble is Touchkey's stuck behind Scottish, and he needs to get past Scottish as fast as he can do, because he's losing the optimum time and what he can actually use out of this set of hards at the moment. So Touchkey needs to get a move on and dispatch Scottish as fast as he can do, because he's got Jan there, but Jan's not a massive threat. He needs to concentrate ahead and dispatch Scottish, and then Touchkey's race will come back to him.
And currently, while that is all going on, we've got a small battle here for P9 as well. Shermanator coming from the back of the grid all the way to P9. Divine Eye in 10th, Marios in 11th, and Cutthroat from P19 to P12 as well, all in this fight for the final positions of the top 10. And if you look at it, Tronzix in P14 currently battling with Mookie, but only trailing a little bit behind. But he's gone back up to P14, which is a pretty good recovery so far. But unfortunately, the Williams drivers will need more than a P14, P19 finish to get the points and defend from Haas, who are, fortunately for them, running 1-2 currently in the race. So this is looking like a very, very strong race from the Haas drivers, from the Haas team, as Divine Eye is making a little bit of a look, still keeps it around the inside, doesn't get close enough to make the attack happen, but he might be getting closer and closer every single time. Trontic now up to 13th place with the DRS overtake around the start-finish line, and he's gone up to P13. But Mookie's on that hard tire, and Tronzic's on the medium, so Mookie's able to stay with him quite well. Has that 6-second time penalty, so unfortunately for him, this is not for net position just yet, because those 6-second time penalties will not be served in the pits, but he is still battling, and the more he battles with Tronzic, the better it will be for Yuri.
Yeah, I'm just looking at P5 and P6 at the moment as well. Sevillas is out of ERS. He's drained ERS already. And I tell you, guys, really impressed me. I'm surprised this is happening. Is Kaka in P6 on his set of softs? Certainly pushing as much as he can do, and has Sevillas ahead of him, who has drained ERS, and has Spongy behind him is drained ERS, and as I say that, Kaka's in. So Kaka, set of hards. That's what I'm saying. He needs to go set of hards. He's going to be doing soft hard strategy.
That would be the most favorable option.
Two guys around him, Sevillas and Spongy, out of ERS, and he has gone hard.
And as we were watching the battle down around P10, as more drivers are coming in now as well, looks like it. No, they are not. It's just a fight down in P11 and all the way back to the straight as well. But Scottish picked up a 3-second time penalty for track limits.
I literally just saw it as well.
Is very unfortunate for him, because currently as it stands, P3 and P4 are trailing him very, very hard. He's going to pull off something in the second half of this race on his second tire to be able to do anything at all against these other guys that are currently trailing him just ever so slightly. They might even overtake on track. And if we look further down in P10, we see Marios, the second McLaren, in P9. Kaka has gone in to get his tires changed, currently in P15, ahead of Tintenfish, who is currently in 16th. So the Williams driver is currently not doing too great of a job so far. But the Alpines are really doing a recovery here from the start of that race. The qualifying was horrendous for them. Both not setting a lap, starting last and 19th, but currently 8th and 10th.
I'm just watching Sevillas. He's catching Jan. He's almost within DRS of Jan against those medium tyres. So Sevillas' hard tyres are starting to come to him, and we'll be looking to make a move on Jan. But Sevillas is struggling with ERS. He has used a lot of it, so he needs to play this so sensibly to be able to get within the second of Jan.
And Dutchke is getting closer, is using that hard tire against Scottish's mediums, and which seems to be the reverse from what you think. You think that the mediums would be running faster than the hards, but on this track in Qatar, anything is possible apparently, with Dutchke in 3rd place, but he's not able to pass. He's just not able, he doesn't have the speed out of the final corner. Like he gains a little bit throughout the entire lap, and then using the DRS, he looks, but he's not close enough to make a dive happen, or anything other overtake wise for that matter. He's stuck in P3, and as you said, Scottish is currently playing barrier. That's what you told me from the start. I didn't want to believe it, but as soon as Scottish dropped back from Yuri, he has started playing that barrier, playing the team game, and Yuri is pulling away from it as Scottish is going in. Scottish is in the pits. That medium tire is gone. Yep. He is out of rubber, and
no, it's a good call. It's a good call because he's going to gain that bit of track position and then come out ahead of Dutchke as well when Dutchke decides to go on his mediums. So he's gone early to play a barrier again later on in the race. So if this is what the two Haas guys have actually planned, it's very clever. It's very clever.
And Tronzik's now up to P10 with all these pits going on. But if you look at it, Tronzik hasn't stopped yet. So Tronzik dropped back quite far and has to do the recovery drive the same way that Jack is currently looking to do as well. But Tronzik hasn't stopped yet. So Tronzik's currently in P10.
Tronzik's in trouble because he's got hard runners behind him who haven't stopped and have stopped. So Tronzik's in a bit of difficulty, shall we say, because it's not easy to overtake round here. So track position means everything. Oh, and Jan's picked up a 3-second. That is not good. That's not good for Jan. And Dutchke's P2.
He's trailing as Dutchke goes in. Dutchke was on the hards.
No. Why did he hit? No, that's a mistake. I tell you what he's done. He's entered the graining phase on those set of hards, and he's thinking they're done, and he's bailed out of it. And
he's gone on a set of mediums.
Yeah, he's going to them to the end, but I think
look further back. Remix is also in
early.
Remix, I believe, is also on the hards, and now has gone to the set of mediums as
Remix?
well. The Mercedes driver.
Yeah, Khan. Okay. Yeah, he's in.
I believe we're seeing different names for the Mercedes driver currently in P15 as he's approaching. There's a battle behind. Sparrow going through Waza as well. So Remix getting out in P17 in the middle of this battle, and Waza has pitted, I believe. No, he has not yet. Both of these drivers not pitted yet, and Remix just with the clean tires is able to pull right through from the looks of it. But yeah, Dutchke going in currently in P13 has maybe, or quite possibly, misjudged anything that's going on. And look at Kaká. He's in P12 with that hard tire. Would be able to sit out the race, possibly, if he does it well enough. If he doesn't notice the graining phase, he's done. It's over. Kaká's doing the strat. Currently right behind Jack. And he's doing
the soft hard that we said about earlier. That's definitely what he's done. And those tires will go to the end without a shadow of a doubt. But what we do need to look at is when Jan's in. This is what I was about to say, is when the top runners start to go in. Jan's bailed and gone in. So expect to see Jan to go on a set of hards, and he has.
As Kaká is pulling onto the inside, and we see Tushki doing the exact same. Again, 3 wide as Jack is pulling back. Tushki has that inside line, does look for something, still ahead. Kaká maybe looking to do a switchback or some kind, and Tushki gets P8 off of the McLaren driver. But if Kaká can stay on, he doesn't need the track position. He just needs to make these tires last at the end, and Tushki has to stop again. So that's about 20 seconds that Tushki now has to pull from Kaká to be able to do anything. With Kaká, 3-second time penalty. So that goes from 20 to 17.
Yeah, and Scottish has jumped. Oh, he hasn't jumped Tushki. Tushki's right behind him still. Okay, so... and... Yeah, I mean, I would say Tushki's in a better position now. So Tushki just needs to save a bit of ERS, stick behind Scottish, and look after these medium tyres. This is a point where you need to look after the medium tyres. The medium tyres are better at the end of the race. So expect to see Tushki all over the back of Scottish, just sitting there, just needs to sit there. Miros in the pits from P5 on his mediums, as we see Yuri and Sevillas on their set of hards still going, and Sevillas is in P2. Are they doing a hard soft?
I would certainly expect so from Yuri, as Yuri is currently in first place. And look at that at the graphic. We have Yuri and Villiers both on that hard tire for the entire stint. But look at Spongy. He's doing it on the mediums. So that medium tire's already lasted half of the race. He's going to go on the hard soon. Tronzik doing the exact same. Tronzik currently up in 5th place. But he is the final driver that still needs to pit in that top 5. So he's got Scottish a second behind him. So Tronzik's going to drop like a stone in just a moment. Scottish currently in 6th place. Now within a second of Tronzik. Has that newer tire. Has the cleaner tire. And should look to make an attack happen here. Which is not
what? They're all
essentially
in
an
trouble.
attack. It's a defense.
They're all in, you say Tronzik's going to drop. Tronzik's going to drop. Cutthroat's going to drop. So Spongy's going to drop. Sevillas is going to drop. They're all in a bit of trouble, and Yuri's got to play this a little bit safe, because the people that have stopped already are putting in some serious lap times and are really gaining time on the guys ahead. So as it stands at the moment, Scottish leading those early stoppers, and we're going to have to see how this pans out, because yeah, this could throw up a few spanners in the works for the guys ahead, because the early stoppers are on the move.
And one of those early stoppers is Tushki. Went from hards to mediums before halfway of the race and is now in P5. But he has to make them last. He's making the moves. He's net P1 currently, because if Yuri stops, it's going to be 8 seconds to Villiers, 6 seconds to Spongy, another 3 seconds, and then another 5 seconds. So it's going to be a total of, what is that, 22 seconds. If Yuri doesn't stop anytime soon, he's going to be dropping behind Tushki, because Tushki is gaining. But he does need to make that medium last.
That's what I was going to say. Just imagine how Yuri's medium is going to be, although he won't be going mediums. He'll be going softs. Yuri and Sevillas will be going softs for the end of the race. So they will be rapid, but they're not overly great. So if Tushki can really get some, and Yuri's in, if Tushki can really get some lap times in and build a gap, it's going to be hard for those guys to catch him that are going on to the softs, Yuri and Sevillas.
And it's going to be interesting to watch now, because Yuri is in, Servilliers is in as well, right behind him.
And Tushki, they're all in. Top 3 are in.
Tushki leading the pack currently of the first stoppage. Yuri is coming out now. He is on his way towards the end of this. Tushki onto the start-finish rate, and Yuri is almost at the end here. He is coming through, and there he is on your screen. He is currently coming through, and they are going side by side into turn 1. Tushki has the space. They make contact, but Tushki is past ever so slightly. Scottish going for it as well. Doesn't quite get it, but Tushki is past. He's into P1, and Yuri is now the one on the clean mediums. He's gone right behind Tushki.
He's on mediums.
He's on mediums.
He's gone
medium. He's on the same compound. It's equal compound now between P2 and P3. Net P1. Cutthroat still has to stop. Tushki, Yuri, same compound.
For 10 laps, why not hot? Why not softs rather? So, okay, bold call from Yuri. Uh, yeah, and Cutthroat we still have out on his set of hards at the moment, who would definitely be going softs, and I think will probably lose a lot of position. So, as I said, Tutski could take the lead of this race, and he has done. Now, there's not a lot between these tyres, because if Tutski can hold off Yuri just a bit in these first few laps, which is going to be so hard because Tutski's out of ERS, so Yuri's going to get Tutski without a shadow of a doubt.
There's no ERS for Touchkey, and there's no DRS either to help survive. If you want a good reference for lap times, by the way, I'm just calling that Spongy's gone on to the softs. At the same time, Yuri has gone on to the mediums. So if you want to see if the softs were in the end going to be a good call or not, you can look at Sir Spongy, as Yuri has taken back the lead. Only lost it for a single lap. Touchkey has had his road, his little lap of glory for just a moment. Scottish dropped back 1.5 seconds already. So that tire definitely not working out. And Touchkey, all he has to do now is stick with Yuri and maybe try and see if he can make an overtake. But we saw Yuri's pace in qualifying. It was so much better than what the rest of the grid does, and he's already clear. The second's already gone.
Yeah.
Touchkey will not have DRS. Yuri's gone cleaner tires. He's first. He's gone. He's over.
Yuri's going to take off. It's all about what Tutski can do on these set of mediums, where he's boxed onto a set of mediums, and Scottish has gone onto the set of hards, carrying a time penalty as well. So's Jan, so's Kaka. So Tutski, to be honest, if I'm totally honest, out of kind of nowhere, has all of a sudden put himself in the P2 position. So very, very, very good drive from Tutski. And the other driver, who I'm totally shocked at with his soft hard strategy, is Kaka, who's come from nowhere. He's now P5, albeit, yes, he's on slightly older hards, but as I said, these hards can last.
Jan's into P4. He's got the DRS on Scottish. Both have a 3-second time penalty, so this is actually Scottish got a 6-second time penalty now. He's made it worse for himself. Jan looking to do something, but he just doesn't have the speed. Scottish probably rinsed his ERS on that straight to get the defense done. He didn't even move to the inside, just took the full line. Comfortable on that one.
Oh my God. Yuri's pulled out 3.5 seconds on Tutski.
It's insane. He is doing a Max Verstappen currently at Losail. It's amazing to see his qualifying performance out of this world. Half a second clear of P2.
Tronzik in P16 on a set of softs. He's not gonna. Yuri is bringing this championship to Tronzik. He is saying, "Don't forget me, man. I am here." And Yuri is absolutely on fire.
35 points between the two drivers, which are going to be cut down to less than 10, I believe, after this event. And Tronzik is going to be very, 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 very scared after this event. And he's not even near Mookie. He's currently 1.5 seconds off, does not have the DRS. Mookie does have it from the train ahead from Divine Eye and Muriels. Will have the 12-second penalty. And look at that. Tronzik is is without a penalty, and the drivers around him all kind of do. Spongy Cutthroat without one as well. And the top 5, Scottish, Jan, Kaka, all have penalties, and Jan is now looking very close for the second time. This time does get past Scottish into turn 1 and gets that P3, but he still has got quite a while to go to get to P2, where Tutchki is currently driving, as Tintenfish is now the only Williams driver to get points as it stands right now, jumped up to P7, as Remix is also battling with Jack right behind. Is looking to get something done. A small touch, and Jack goes almost sideways. It's a very nice save from the AlphaTauri, but Remix does get passed into P8, and the Williams now relying on Tintenfish to grab the points for tonight. And Scottish, the only thing he can do really is trying to overtake again on that one DRS zone that this track does have, and he's got to stay within a second now. He's got worse tires from the looks of it, and he's just got to hold on if he's got any chance of finishing on the podium.
Yeah, and the trouble with Scottish is he's got the 6-second time penalty as well, so it's gonna hinder Haas for the constructors, because as it stands at the moment, Kaka will jump Scottish, and if Sevilius can get a move on as well, he could throw a span in the works as well. So Scottish has either got to get Jan and get a move on down the road, or yeah, he's going to be dropping some points for Haas. But Yuri's pace. I mean, look at that now. I mean, what did I say earlier? 3.5 seconds or whatever it was. We're now over 6 seconds. Yuri's pace is just astronomically fast. And Touchy's just got to sit there in his P2 and just drive what he's doing, because if he can just keep out that DRS of Jan, then he's going to be safe. But yeah, I mean, from my point of view, Yuri's race is just unbelievably, absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Fantastic drive.
And Scottish and Jan currently battling with each other, and that's going to give Tushki a little bit of room. But Jan is pulling in. The gap has closed already a little bit. It was 1.7 when they crossed the line, I believe. That's already half a second on this lap. And Tushki now dropping back from Yuri. I don't think that's just Yuri's pace. That might be Tushki dropping back a tiny bit. Remember, the age difference between Yuri and Tushki's tires is only 4 laps. But this is the damage that it can do. And if you look at the tire age of Jan and Scottish's tires, and even Kanka, it's 7, 9, and 11 laps, respectively. And they are pulling in on that Ferrari. So these hard tires that are slightly older, some of them, are pulling on the mediums. And 8 laps currently for Tushki. He's got to go 7 more. That's 15 laps on that medium. I mean, Spongy's done it in the beginning. And it is definitely possible. But will they still have pace at the end? I very much doubt it. As Scottish is looking to get an overtake done. Villiers doing the same thing. But Villiers actually getting past. And Scottish staying in 4th place. So Villiers now in 5th place. Kaka in 6th.
What I can't quite believe is Yuri's taking about 2.5 seconds a lap out of Tushki.
You just give it a few more laps, he's going to be gone for 20 seconds. That is going to be crazy.
Unbelievable. 2.5 seconds.
This is by far
he's taken out
the biggest pace difference that we've seen in not even this season, in the league itself. This is insane to watch. I think Ali, I think Yuri is going to be your fan favorite because he's good at the track that you absolutely adore, and he's giving you this much of a performance already. And as I say that, we're going to look at Tushki, who's getting chased by Jan and Scottish, and that's going to be close.
It's going to get tasty, but I mean, Jan's got to get past and build a 3-second gap. So Scottish, I think, it's not going to be doable to do. So Tushki needs to just focus on Jan, get his braking points right, and try and keep Jan as far back as he can do for as long as he can do. Use his ERS in the right positions, and just try and keep that 3-second gap. Oh, and Scottish just
passed.
Whoa, one.
Oh, and that's the rear of Jan going very unstable on that exit. And Scottish is through. He's passed. And the AlphaTauri driver now sitting in P4.
That will help. That will help Tushki, Waps. That will really help Tushki, because Scottish isn't going to get past and build a 6-second gap. So if Scottish can keep Jan behind, that's really going to help Tushki.
He's going to get free positions
look
from
at
this.
That now. Yuri's done another 1.5 seconds this lap. It's just ridiculous. The pace of this man is absolutely unbelievable. And to be honest, Tronzik sitting in P12 is going to be thinking, holy crap.
And not only Tronzik will be thinking that, I think Kaka and Villiers will be looking at this as well. They've joined the battle now. So this battle for P3, this small train, a DRS train from 3rd, 4th, 5th, all the way through 6th, is now getting real close.
Villiers has a podium as it stands. Villiers has got a podium.
On the penalties, he does. But I don't think he's going to be taking enough of that. I think he wants to get it on the track as well. I don't think he's going to be taking home that P3 from penalties. I think he wants to take it onto the track. So P5, the Red Bull, currently looking to maybe get something done sometime soon. Scottish not going defensive. Does not have the DRS yet. So Jan has the DRS but didn't pull out of that slipstream. Didn't think he could go close enough to do anything. And Jack now dropping back into 8th place. I do wonder what that is all about. He's currently on the hard tire, dropped down to 9th as he's being attacked left, right, and center. Cutthroat doing the same thing as well. He's going to look to get a little bit of a move back on Spongy, but he's unable to, compromising his line. And now Cutthroat around the outside on the softer tire, on the cleaner tire, is going to look for a move past the AlphaTauri, and he does so. And Jack is just dropping back. He just lost 3 positions. I believe 4 even, if you count the one from Remix a little bit earlier as well. He's down to 10th place, and the train now is being led by Remix.
Yeah, just looking back ahead as well, the top 3, Scottish certainly not making the inroads he wants to make, and that's helping Touchkey because Jan is behind Scottish, so Touchkey's sitting there at the moment with his P2, and Yuri's now 10.5 seconds ahead of Touchkey. It's just astronomical. The pace of this guy is unreal. And Tronzik sitting down there in P12, probably scratching his head. 2 poor races from Tronzik, if we're honest. I think a DNF last week. Currently a P12. Probably about to gain P11 come the end of the race. But
Villiers has passed Jan just now into turn 1. So that is one of the positions that he needs. But this is going to help Scottish a tiny bit, as Scottish seems to be ghosted and is dropping back. P5, P6 now. Kaka's gone past. And Scottish might have just lost connection.
He's connecting. Yeah, he's done it many races, if we've seen.
Oh, and Scottish is back up to P3. So that might have just been a connection issue from Scottish. And he's back up to P3. So disregard anything that I've just said before. He's to P3. And Villiers now into P4. Has Jan right behind him to take the battle with him. But with that 3-second time penalty, the Red Bull is just going to take that position. And the same from Scottish. Got 6 seconds as it stands. Scottish is going to lose P4 as well. And Jan is going to go up to that position.
Yeah, Sevilla looking very good for a podium here.
That's a DNF from Mookie.
That won't be a safety car. Too late.
At the start of Sector 2. That's 3 laps remaining. If we call safety car now, they'll be finishing under it. So no, it indeed will not be. And that is going to be a relief for some of these drivers. But an absolute stab in the back for others that might have benefited from that safety car. Scottish now clear from Villiers behind. But will have the DRS to maybe make a move on Touchkey. Ultimately, it doesn't matter, but he does send it on the inside. Gets that position done very neatly there, and that puts Touchkey in danger of the Red Bull behind. So this overtake from Scottish might not have anything to do with his position, but it's got everything to do with Touchkey. Currently P3, but P4 is trailing ever so slightly. Only 2.5 laps remaining for these drivers. Yuri, 12 seconds clear of P2. It's going to look even more impressive once those penalties kick in, and the gap is going to be even bigger. But Touchkey now has, luckily, the DRS to do something. And if we're going to look on board with Sir Villiers, he does not have battery. If we look at Touchkey, he's halfway in. So Touchkey does have some tools to defend and maybe get Scottish back. And if we look at Scottish's DRS, he is almost out completely. So Touchkey has got the chance to maybe look and get that position back. So Touchkey can get Scottish as a barrier. The barrier that we've been calling him since the start of the race. Scottish being barrier for Yuri to pull away. And got another 3-second time penalty, which is very unfortunate. He's racked up 9 seconds in total, which Jan and Kaka are even going to benefit from. So that's all the way to P6 now. And
Touchkey's got to go attack. He's got to go attack now. He has to go attack now because Sevillers is all over the back of Touchkey as well.
Oh, and he's using everything. He's not going defensive enough. Sir Villiers is now on the inside. For turn 1 does get something done there. They both get past Scottish, and the Red Bull is currently ahead, and there's no way he's got defense for the next one. This might be strategy, Ali. Listen to this. Listen to this strategy. 1 lap remaining after this. 1 DRS straight before the finish of the race. There's currently a few tenths behind Villiers and Touchkey. Touchkey is going to sit behind till the end, nice and pretty, wait for that DRS activation point, open up the flap, get past, and he'll be leading Villiers for the last lap. And then all he has to do is pick a defensive line, charge up a little bit of ERS, which he can do now if he stays close to the Red Bull, which he's doing quite well now, but he does need to get a little bit closer to make the DRS overtake happen. Scottish, 8 tenths behind. Not relevant currently for this fight. Jan already looking to make an overtake happen.
This is all about P2 WAPs. This is all about P2, Sevillers and Touchkey, who is going to take P2, and Touchkey needs to, as you say, keep as close as you can do to Sevillers and save that ERS. Sevillers totally out of ERS. You can see his car blinking. Tutski's got to go for it now. This is his move now. He's got to go for it now. And Sevilla's going massively defensive.
He's pulling off to the side, not giving any sort of slipstream to Tutski, and he's not taking anything either.
He didn't follow him.
He's not passed.
He didn't even follow him neither. Tutski just sitting on his own line and didn't even go with him. So kind of odd.
Very strange. Maybe Tutski thinks he's got a chance on the final straight that they've got, but it's half of a straight. That's all they have. It's half of a DRS zone. Everything happens after the start finish line. He's very close now, but he just doesn't have the time to get the overtake done. He needs to do it right now. Sector 2. This is where he needs to do it.
Right-handers, you can gain so much time around here. If you stick close enough, you can gain so much time. And he doesn't. He's actually lost a bit of time. So Tutski's in danger of losing a P2 here, and I think he is going to lose a P2, but still a podium. But what a drive from Sevilla's. He's come from nowhere and stuck it on P2.
That's indeed absolutely amazing. Tutski is getting real close now, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It's more than half a second, or around half a second, hovering here and there. One corner to go, one DRS zone. It's a yellow flag behind, which is Remix looking like to drop back a little bit more. And Yuri has gone and finished the race almost 15 seconds before Servier crosses the line. Currently P2 and P3, a 10th for these drivers. NKK, look at that on penalties. Up to P4.
Taken P8 as well. Tronzik took P8 because of those penalties.
So not even on penalty, this is track position. This is just track position. He's gone up to P8. And that is quite an amazing recovery.
No, he's under penalties. Was it not? No, he's under penalties.
I don't believe it was, because he was already
it wasn't. He overtook.
It was on P8 before anyone else has crossed the line yet. So that is just
he was
P8
P10 and he overtook P9 and P8. Oh, wow. Okay, so
what a last lap there.
Certainly helped his championship battles there, and gaining P8 from what looked like at times a very, very bad race for Tronzik, but certainly picking up the scrags as much as you can do. So P8 for Tronzik, but Yuri, absolute class of his own. I do have my personal driver of the day. I don't know if you want to call yours but I have mine.
I am so tempted to go anyone but Yuri. Like, for example, look at the Alpines. Cutthroat, Shermanator, starting the last two drivers on the grid. Cutthroat to P7 from 19. That is an amazing drive. KK up to P4 out of nowhere. Tutski with that gamble early on the mediums. Lost out in the end and didn't get Yuri. But in the end, I think the pace difference from Yuri is just absolutely unbelievable.
I'm not calling Yuri just because it's too obvious. So I'm going to disregard Yuri. I'm going to go outside of Yuri. So outside of Yuri, what would you call? I mean, Yuri's done an amazing job. We know that. What would you call?
Outside of Yuri.
For me.
Yeah, we need to go driver of the day number 2, or like second best driver of the day. Yuri absolutely smashed it.
Between two.
It's for me. It's between Tutski, KK, maybe even, or Cutthroat, because starting on the last row and then getting all the way to P7, that is an achievement and a half. That is one that not many people have called.
You've mentioned two of mine. So between me, for me, it would be Cutthroat or KK, and I'll probably go KK just because of the strategy, and it was so bold.
It was indeed. And that, my dear viewers, this has been a race and a half, from strategy to immense pace. Look at the fastest lap time as well between Yuri and Villiers. That's 7/10 different on the fastest lap. Currently 13 and a half seconds between Yuri and Villiers. It's absolutely amazing. So that being said, I want to thank you all so much for watching and supporting. If you enjoyed it, be sure to drop a subscribe right down below so you can get notified whenever we go live again, which is tomorrow, exact same time, 8 p.m. UK time. That is BST 20:00 p.m., which is already indicated by that 20 because there's no 20 hours in half of a day. Ali, do you have any final words for our dear viewers?
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Obviously, keep continuing to watch, like the channel as much as you can do, because it does help us. It does help the league. It helps the drivers, and obviously helps us to promote Divine Eye as well. So, from myself, thank you very much. Thank you very much as well, Waps. Been a pleasure as always. I certainly look forward to my Monday nights commentating with you. It's immense.
And those things go vice versa. Very much enjoyed tonight as well. And with that being said, I want to thank you all, and we'll see you again next week.
That's